What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it was always certainly the intention of Marvel Studios to start doing holiday specials as soon as they launched franchise TV shows on Disney+. But it was the recent success of the Werewolf by Night special presentation that had rumors swirling over at Marvel Studios that they may actually look to reprioritize that format over, say, 6 to 9 episode TV shows for some of their characters coming up, and just because of how well it performed and as a standout in Marvel Phase 4. Then just days ago, during an Inside the Disney podcast, one of the top brass at Marvel Studios, during an interview which we will get into during this video, started talking about, quote, digging into the darker side of the MCU and what that meant for Marvel Phase 5 and beyond. Today's update is actually the intersection of the two, reported from an industry insider that there is another Disney special presentation on the way, and it is in the darker side of the MCU in Mephisto. We're going to talk about where this broke, where it came from. No, it's not Eric Voss. We're also going to talk about the support and details for that, evidence coming from this interview just days ago with one of the top executives at the MCU. We're breaking it all down, the latest report of Mephisto in the MCU. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner to coincide with Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, all you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment on this video if you want, stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this actually came from an industry insider that's been rather ubiquitous as of late, especially when it comes to Marvel scoops. This is as re-reported by The Direct, quote, above the lines, Jeff Sneider claimed on the Hot Mic podcast that a Marvel Studios special presentation centered around Mephisto is shooting right now, quote unquote, on the Agatha Coven of Chaos set with Sacha Baron Cohen portraying the titular character. Now, it's very important to mention that if Marvel Studios decides to go about this special presentation the way they did about Werewolf by Night, it won't be officially confirmed till about D23 of this year, and only months before it releases. It was widely reported and almost confirmed by corroboration when Werewolf by Night was shooting and even when it went into post-production, but still, Marvel Studios said nothing until the last minute, even if that's their MO this year. And if you're wondering, it's as good as confirmed that Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be playing Mephisto. Deadline basically already confirmed it with their report, and as I've said many times at the channel, by the time the Hollywood Reporter or Deadline get to it when it's news like this is how it ends up being reported, and Marvel Studios basically doesn't have to make a presentation at this point. We all already know. So it's not a question of if, it's just the where and the when, and it seems like now, with his own special presentation, they've built at least a 3-project arc for his character, because we already know 2 other places he's going to show up in both Agatha Coven of Chaos. That's why they're shooting it sequentially with that and on set. And of course, he's already been heavily rumored to be the actual villain in the upcoming Ironheart series, which again was originally set to debut this year, but now with the delays to the slate, probably will be pushed to 2024 alongside Echo. That's at least where we're as of now, and waiting for an update from Marvel Studios. Speaking of which, creating a through arc for a character like Mephisto, as heavily as he was rumored originally for WandaVision and we all fell flat on our faces, seems like it has been confirmed by Marvel Studios though, in earlier this week, coming from the Vice President of Production and Development in Stephen Broussard, and speaking to an Inside the Disney podcast on horror and D23, he said he would love digging into the darker side of the MCU, and when asked whether or not Werewolf by Night, the special presentation that premiered last Halloween, could have ties to any of Phase 5, this is what he said, quote, so the special itself was made as this one-off holiday special stylistic exercise with our good friend Michael Giacchino, but those characters, I mean, come on, they're too cool to leave behind. If I have anything to do with it, and keep in mind guys, he's the Vice President of Production and Development, so he actually does have a lot to do with it, quote, Marvel will continue digging into the horrorverse, digging into the darker side. There's so many great characters, like Mephisto, from the comics and from that world. Elsa, as you mentioned, Elsa Bloodstone, was fantastic, played by Laura. And basically he goes on to continue to say, in not so many words, that they were really able to strike the right idea with that little feature, create this world of monsters within the MCU that is rich in lore, but also extremely intriguing. He mentions by name the relationship between Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night, and it's one of those things that it just feels like it was meant to keep going, and obviously Marvel Studios has their plans for it, but now we see that coming to fruition, hearing that Mephisto is going to get a mini arc through multiple series and on Disney+. Now, the one thing that gives me pause is hearing that he'll be a part of the Agatha Coven of Chaos series. I sort of expect that series with Catherine Hahn to be one sort of thing, maybe not as serious in tone as the original deconstruction that he mentioned during the WandaVision series, maybe a little lighter in tone. That's what I sort of expected from her as an actor in that show. But if they're truly going to bring in Mephisto and then make him a villain through Ironheart, maybe they will lean into that darker side. And when he says that, I think about sort of what we saw during Werewolf by Night. Yeah, there was some light comedy, some light brevity along the way, but really it was a horror movie and had some real violence in it. Sort of the same thing that I want to see from Blade. That's how I expect them to do Mephisto. That's what the character calls for, not a joking Sacha Baron Cohen who's played more like a Disney representation of the devil. And you may say, but that's why they hired him to do it. But I may say that someone like Sacha Baron Cohen, who's already explored so much comedy in his way, that will only come in as a tool that he can use to craft this character. But I really don't think that someone like him coming into the MCU to do this character is interested if it's more of the same, if it's just more Ali G. I think he may be interested in playing the devil in the MCU to really give it a go and give it his actual representation. And if you're a fan of the comics and you've read Mephisto before, if you understand his place in the quote-unquote darker side of the comics, which obviously Stephen Broussard says like 4 times in this interview that he's a fan. So when he's talking about Mephisto and the darker side, this is what he's talking about. Also the darker side of Stephen Strange that they just barely scratched the surface of in Multiverse of Madness, Symbols of the Occult. If they're going to do this character, I think they're going to do him right and in the right way from the comics, which means a more adult, mature, and serious themed character, not sort of what I expect from Agatha Coven of Chaos, but remember, he may only play one small part in that show. I am all for Sacha Baron Cohen being a part of this. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I certainly hope I'm right with my appraisal that he's going to go for a serious tone, but I'm ultra excited to hear that they're at least giving him 3 projects on Disney Plus and presumably over the next 2 years to build this character out, and we'll have to wait and see just what role he plays going forward, or if he'll basically be a mini boss and contained while we're exploring the multiverse saga in the films. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below in reaction to any and all of this, and if you agree with me, you're really into the darker side, meaning some violence and a dark tone. I'm all for it. Hopefully Marvel Studios knows that, and we get more of the same with the Midnight Suns to come. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5. The next milestone is the Guardians of the Galaxy release in just a couple of months. All the same rules apply if you want to be entered to win. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes with original music under the name Allfires, hence the AKA in the prologue. Also, I really appreciate you guys checking this channel out and all the support over the years. Tons of new Marvel videos coming this weekend, so make sure to keep it tuned here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.